Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about XDTE, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go into the intro. Got to thank Oracle for this intro, ladies and gentlemen. I like what he said. Let's listen to what he had to say before we get into our XTD review of, ladies and gentlemen. Does XTD really suck, or is it paying good dividends and rebounding like it should?
From Roundhill, and does XDTE really suck? I've seen the spreadsheets, I've seen all kinds of stock analysis and everything, but nothing beats having real money in the game. Okay, and multiple times over the last 2.5 years or whatever it's been, 2 years, I've had XDTE a few times. I've watched it weather everything. To me, covered call funds suck, and that's another video that's coming. Actually, you should subscribe.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's look into it. Does XTDE really suck? So let's look at the first point, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go through all the dividends beginning of January, ladies and gentlemen. January 2nd, it pay you $2.05. This is a one-time fee because they have to pay out if they made profit through the year back to the shareholders, ladies and gentlemen. It's a one-time thing. This happened last week of December, and this one in the first week of January, ladies and gentlemen. January 2nd, made $205. On January 9th, we made $16 cents. January 16th, 11 cents dividends. This is where it should be at. Another 16 cents on the 23rd. 10 cents, this is the lowest it has been all year long, ladies and gentlemen. Pay you 10 cents. Oh, wait, excuse me. This is the lowest, 5 cents. 5 cents, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Ooh. But it's 5 cents to you, ladies and gentlemen. Did it rebound? Where we at on this, ladies and gentlemen? February 13th, 12 cents. You know, it came back up. I like that they do not overpay on their distribution or dividends, whatever you want to call it, ladies and gentlemen. In February 20th, it paid 18 cents. Then we're up 20 cents for February 27th, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at where this is at for the year, ladies and gentlemen. How far are we down in round here for the year? The week, down 30 cents, ladies and gentlemen. But year to date, we're down 68 cents. If you add up all the dividends I showed you earlier, ladies and gentlemen, you were paid out per share $3.22, ladies and gentlemen. If you take that $3.22 and minus the 68, $3.22 minus 0.68, you're still up $2.54 per share, ladies and gentlemen. Since I have, where the shares at? 247. Let's say 200 times 247 from 257. I made $627.38. But I am down $773.83. If I minus the 73.83, ladies and gentlemen, technically I'm only down $146.45. If this go back up to where I think it could go, ladies and gentlemen, back to the $44 mark, I think it could go back up here, ladies and gentlemen, rebound where it was at December 23rd, ladies and gentlemen. It could rebound back up there, ladies and gentlemen. That means all the dividends you got from that time, ladies and gentlemen, will be yours, and you'll be back at a wash, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, all the dividends you have made is yours to keep. Do what you want to do, ladies and gentlemen. That way I'll look at it, ladies and gentlemen. But, my God, can we get back there? We still got another 10 months to get back there, ladies and gentlemen. And I think the stock market, in my opinion, will go sideways until mid-June, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a war with Iran right now with the help of Israel, ladies and gentlemen, trying to do a regime change. Regime change should have happened a long time ago, not 47 years. But I'm not getting into that, I'm not getting into politics. But we are talking about Roundhill, ladies and gentlemen. Does Roundhill really suck, ladies and gentlemen? You gotta do your own due diligence, ladies and gentlemen. If you are making 322 in dividends, but you're only down year to date 68 cents. Technically, you are up, ladies and gentlemen. And if you were, some people don't like this, where you put that money back into it, ladies and gentlemen, lower down your cost basis, then you be positive. Look, my cost basis is $42.37. I have not been putting that money back in there. I've been paying off my margin. If this go back up to that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd be positive. Total return be $0, but I will have all the dividends I have been paid out, ladies and gentlemen, throughout this year in my pocket, pay on my margin, and blah blah blah. Does ask the question, ladies and gentlemen, does XTD really suck, ladies and gentlemen? It follows the S&P 500. S&P 500 has been doing good, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at that. What I want to use? N-P 500. Just go to prediction market. Okay. Let's look at Boo. What have Boo been doing? B-O-O. Let's look at what View have been doing for the year, ladies and gentlemen. It's down $1.43 for the year. This is down $1.43 per year, ladies and gentlemen. What is XTDE? Year to date? Oh my God, really? XTDE. What is XTDE at? Only down 68 cents. Well, you might be down only 68 cents, or if you have Boo that you might not even have a share, down $1.43 for the year. Which one would you like, ladies and gentlemen? XTDE or Boo? I would take XTDE because it's a lower cost base, and I'm getting a better dividend because XTDE on pay you quarterly 183, ladies and gentlemen. Quarterly on this, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen 322 in the first 2 months. We got one more month to get that quarter done. Do you want the 322 or do you want the 188 and pay more and have less shares, ladies and gentlemen? My opinion, I take XTDE over Boo any day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this short video, ladies and gentlemen. This will be a weekly thing. You're talking about, does XTDE really suck? See you on the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.